Hey guys, so just another quick improvements and fixes video because there is few issues that we have, so let's fix them together. First one is our stamina is not regenerating anymore, and that is just because in a player HUD here when we got stamina I forgot to actually connect the set percent. So just copy this node, and here in the beginning we need to add it. So connect it from the stamina. Now target will be stamina bar. And percentage, instead of setting it here, we can just Control X these two and put them in front so we can use them on other stats. Okay, so we'll put it here, and this one new value is the value, and new percentage we can calculate here also. So we're going to copy this, paste it here. Stat will be stat. Can drag this back, and new percentage will be the value divided by max stat, and then connect it to new percentage. Now let's make it look a little bit better. So here we need to have a percentage. We can remove this part, we get a new percentage. Remove this, move this down. This can go up now because we do have a space. This will just move a little bit. And here we got mana bar. Health we need to connect back here, and just the percentage here we need to connect it as well to stamina. Oh no, this one you can actually Q, straighten it, and there is one more thing, this selection can go up like this. Alright, so compile and save, and now our stamina should regenerate. Yeah, perfect, that works again. And then you might have noticed that until we change the stats, our regeneration doesn't kick in, so it doesn't work. So it's best if we actually activate it when we start the game. So in the stats component where we got this, we can just delete the tick, and on begin play we can do switch, not switch, sorry, sequence, and then normally we would just connect them here and it would start doing this function. But I don't know if you noticed, but this basically when we change the stat, we start regenerating functions, and even if my health, let's check in stats component, health regeneration, I'll set it to 0, compile and save. And now if I change this, one more thing, in stats component, if I were to add print string to this health, you don't have to follow this part, and do hello. As soon as I change my stats, it will start running that function and it won't stop, okay? So we need to prevent that. So we're going to just here in the event graph, instead of checking on every single stat, what we can do is create macro. Macro is like a mini function that will check something for us over and over, and we're going to call it is not equal 0, and it's just going to check, it will have an input of the stat that we're regenerating, because we want to check if the stat that we are regenerating, the regeneration is not 0, because if it is 0 we don't have to run that function. Okay, so this can actually be called regenerating stat. It will be type stats e, and then we can do get max stat because it's saved in the max stat for our regenerating stat, and we can check if it's not equal 0. and then we connect it to output, okay? And that will either return true or false. Compile and save. And now in our event graph, here in the beginning, we can just drag this macro, move this back. Let's actually flip these around as well. Just so we have them same as here. And let's create a mana regeneration as well. So let's duplicate this health. This will be regenerate mana. Here you have to change it to mana, mana regeneration, then mana and mana, and here also mana. On the end we change it to regenerate mana. Make sure it's spelled the same way, or you can just copy it and paste it there. And then in event graph again, we can connect, what am I doing? We can set timer, just actually get this one here, copy it, and this one will be regenerate mana, and then clear timer before, and regenerate mana. So mana is same as health. We want to regenerate all the time, not after delay like stamina, okay? So we just connect it like this, we stop it first and then we start it again. And then connect the mana. And for the macro, before each one, we need to just check. So for health, we need to check if the health regeneration is not 0, okay? Then we do branch. Health. And if it's true, so if it's not 0, then we start this function. Well, first we stop it, but then we start it again, okay? And we do the same thing, so copy this on mana, true, and mana regeneration is not equal 0, and then we do it here, and this will be stamina regeneration. For stamina we don't really even need to check because, no, actually, let's do it anyway. Stamina regeneration, true, and we start regenerating. Then on the event begin play, we got this sequence. So create new pin, and we going to first do this, then do this part, and after we'll do this part. So in the beginning, as soon as we start the game, it will check if our health regeneration is not equal 0, mana regeneration and stamina regeneration, and it will start regenerating the stat that's got some regeneration, okay? And we compile and save. And now let's test it out in the player stats component. For health, I'm going to do -2. And that is also why I'm doing not equal to 0, because it can be minus values, you know. So if you do less than 0 or equals to 0, then you can't have a like degeneration from debuffs or something. Okay, so -2 on health, 5 on mana, and stamina we have. So let's test it out. Okay, the health's going down, mana's going up, and our stamina went up as well, because I do have it set for 90 in the beginning instead of 100, I think. So I'm just going to do full stamina, so our bar doesn't have to show in the beginning, it will stay hidden. Okay, and that way, if one more thing, we also need to if we change the regeneration, so if it starts at 0, it will check it, it won't start this function. But then also if we have a regeneration from some items or potions or anything like that, when it changes, we need to check if it changed. So we need to, on health regeneration, we need to connect it to the first one, mana regeneration to here, and stamina regeneration to here. Because if it changes from 0 to 2, then we need to start this regeneration, okay? We compile and save, and now, okay, there is another issue that I have noticed, and I'll show you if I multiply this a few times. So if you sprint, so I'm holding the shift, pick up these items. I'm slowing down, but then I release the shift and I'm suddenly running again, even though I am overburdened, encumbered. Okay, so it's not a great issue. Either if I drop the item and then moving slowly, but then I'm press shift and release shift again, it does it. So that's because in our here in left shift, when we start sprinting and when we disable sprint, here we're changing it back to 500 max walk speed on regular one, but it doesn't check if we are encumbered. Okay, so what we need to do is, instead of just this, we're going to check weight. Check weight function, and if you remember, in this function we check if we are overweight, and if we are, we slow down the movement, or if we're not, we put the movement back to normal movement. Okay, so this will just set the movement back to normal or slow down depending on what it is. Okay, so check weight, where was I? Event graph. So here, disable sprint, check weight, and connect it. Compile and save. And now one more thing we can do is that in our player HUD, since we already made it, I wanted to do it here, so we can just get the image, add it to canvas panel. This one will be centered to the bottom middle, so Control and Shift and click. And let's make it maybe 30 and 30 and offset it by 200, minus 200, minus 250. Yeah, let's say just on the stamina bar. This will be the weight icon. This one here, I'll make it red. Maybe not just dark. And I'll make it hidden as a default. So visibility, this will be hidden. This one needs to be a variable, so we can call it encumbered. And compile and save. And now in a player blueprint, we do need a reference to our player HUD. So here in the beginning, extend this. What is even this comment? Input mapping. So this is way more than this, so we can just rename this one to begin play. And then here, where we're creating the player HUD, we're just adding it to viewport. We can promote this to a variable. This one will be player HUD reference, so ref. Disconnect this, connect it directly, and connect this one here. Okay, so we'll set it on the beginning. And then in our check weight again function, what we can do now is, let's move this. We're going to get a player HUD reference, and we're going to set visibility. Let's not do a function inside the function, just I'll do the first one, set visibility. And here on true, so if we are overweight, we're going to make it visible. And if we are not, we're going to hide it. And hidden. Okay, compile and save. Now if you play the game, pick this up, it didn't show up. All right, okay, sorry, I'm making player HUD hidden. It's the encumbered. So get encumbered and connect it to target, and here get encumbered and connect that to target. Alright, and now when we play the game, okay, so suddenly we do have a little icon there. We can even make it bigger, but I think this is enough. And it's just there on the stamina bar. We can't sprint anymore or anything. And if I press and release shift, it doesn't sprint anyway. And now only where we'll start sprinting is if we drop this item, and then it disappears. Okay, and that is all for fixes and improvements. If you think of anything else, just let me know. Okay, cool guys, see you in the next one.